I'm Tania Gustafson, award-winning nutritionist, behavior specialist, and certified mental wellness coach on a mission to help midlife women move from barely surviving to thriving. You have been lied to. Weight gain, mood swings, hot flashes, brain fog, despite what the world and even your doctor may have told you, do not have to be your story. You are not broken. You've just never been shown how to fuel your body in a way that creates hormonal balance. Fit Woman Podcast is where we expose the lies and share all things to help women take back control of their health, hormones, weight, and mental wellness and thrive through midlife. I'm so glad you're here. Hello and welcome to the Fit Woman Podcast, where we explore all things to help women fuel their bodies, ignite their metabolism and their minds to thrive through midlife. I am Tania Gustafson, and today I am excited to chat with a true pioneer and innovator when it comes to beauty products that women use like every day. So she's a professional makeup artist with over 30 years of beauty experience, including working on thousands of movie sets, TV shows, editorial and cover shoots with all the celebs that you've seen out there on the red carpet. And being immersed in this industry helped her develop such a vast knowledge of the skin and what works and what doesn't work with your beauty and your health. So we'd like to welcome to the show today, Yolanda Halston is here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, I'm just so honored that you took the time. I know you're super busy with all of your endeavors that you are doing. We're going to touch on all of them today because you've got so many new neat things that you're doing that are just kind of sort of innovative and new in the industry. And so I love that. So, okay, first just tell us a little bit about you. What's your niche, your demographic? Who do you serve?
I serve everyone with skin.
There we go. Okay, you heard it here, everybody.
I started off my career early days as a makeup artist in Los Angeles. And so that included everything from film, which is where I started, and television, and then celebrities, red carpet, magazine covers. I really love fashion. I even did Sports Illustrated swimsuits. So
I remember that.
That really helped me develop my love of natural looking skin. Obviously, wearing makeup doesn't have to look like makeup. And then I also was a key makeup artist on the movie Addams Family Reunion, which was 8 hours of makeup before my day even started. So everything in between. So yes, but makeup is from the youngest to the most mature client. I love them all.
Yeah. And it's just such a huge age span, right? The girls are experimenting with lipstick when they're like 10 years old. And then the women who are in their 60s, 70s, they really want the smooth, clean, wrinkle-free kind of look, right? To not betray their age, right? It doesn't matter. We all have a little bit of vanity in there somewhere. I know it, right? We just all want to look our best. And that was the thing that I did not like wearing makeup. I wore makeup, but I never wore foundation, hardly ever. If I was going to a wedding or something, I would kind of put on a little bit and maybe a little bit of concealer or something. And then that was it. I did hardly wore any, until I tried one of your products because, I just didn't like the way it felt on my skin and what it did to my skin, actually, It feels like you're just wearing a sheet of something else that didn't belong and didn't feel very nice. And I know that you've kind of solved that problem as well too, and we'll get there. But how did you choose to be? What made you go into makeup? Were you that little girl who was always stealing her mom's stuff at the table? And
absolutely, in fact, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a makeup artist, and yes, I would steal my mom's makeup, and I would go in my room and close the door, and I had mirrored closet doors. And so I would pretend like I was putting it on and play. And then I'd hear her coming down the hall, and I'd have to quickly, stick it in my shoes and then hope I didn't forget, because many times I forgot that I had hidden it. And she would say, Yolanda, where's my lipstick? Where's my eyebrow pencil?
Okay.
Well, I always knew I wanted to be a makeup artist from diapers as far back as I can remember. And yes, I stole my mother's makeup. I would sneak into her room and take her lipstick or eyebrow pencil and go in my room. And I had mirrored closet doors, so I would pretend like I was putting it on, and then I would hear her coming down the hall, so I'd quickly stick it in my shoes. And then, of course, I would forget that I had hidden it in my shoes. And the next morning, Yolanda.
Oh my gosh, that's hilariously funny. Jeez.
Yeah.
And so how did you get on the red carpet? Because I'm sure, I mean, I never aspired to do anything with makeup or film or anything, but that just seems to be like the pinnacle of, like, oh, sure, we'd love to do weddings and things in town and, sort of get our own business established, do all that. But how do you get on the red carpet? That's huge.
Well, a lot of it is who you know and networking. I grew up in a church where a lot of people from the industry went to my church. So there were not people, and even Linda Carter. I mean, we had a lot. It was a very small church, but there was a lot of people who worked in the industry. So I think I
Really?
worked on my first film before I turned 18 as an assistant. And then as soon as I did, I plugged myself right in and started working in film. So this is early days, and doing films. We were doing, back to back, just one right after another. Like I said, I did Hilary Duff's first movie. I'm the one who gave her signature blonde hair.
Oh,
She
cool.
she came to town with brown hair, and she was Wendy in Casper Meets Wendy. So she had to be a little blonde. And so, and then it just rolled from there. As you work on films, you meet celebrities and you
Yeah.
continue to work with them. And so a lot of the development of my product came from my experience there. And then I realized I wanted to work from 9 to 5 and not 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. because the hours are very long on film. And so I started doing more advertising and fell in love with doing fashion. And that rolled into magazine covers, traveling with Sports Illustrated. And I'm a less is more makeup artist. I think that wearing makeup is almost like wearing jewelry, but your skin always should look good. And so I always focused on the skin. And I think that's really what was the key to my success in working with people, because no one wants that feeling of wearing a mask or
Right.
hiding your skin underneath your makeup. It really should just accentuate your natural beauty.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I learned from you, that it can be different. It doesn't have to be like that. And I was privileged to have you do my makeup twice now. And just in comparison, I was gifted another makeup session because I was going to be on stage, and so somebody gifted it to me. I was like, I was like, oh my gosh, that's pretty nice of you. Thank you. It was not the same experience. I'm just, because I think it was not using something that, like you said, you want to make sure that you're not feeling the makeup, right?
Yeah.
And so it wasn't the whole less is more philosophy. I'm with you on that. I like the less is more. I think personally for me, that makes me feel more comfortable. And if you're more comfortable, you're going to be your best self. Like if you're feeling like you're a little bit hesitant about how you look or uncomfortable or feeling heavy, it's going to come across in your speaking or in your communications or your networking, whatever it is you're doing. It's going to come across in that. And it would come across on the stage, I'm sure, for your people. I mean, I guess after a while they would just get used to it because that's part of their job. But I mean, for the rest of us in the public, so you've created some makeup, and we're going to talk about that. Those are two interesting products that you have. But what made you decide you wanted to make your own? Like, that's just another huge step. So and how does one do that? Because not everybody, you don't have a chemistry set in your kitchen. So,
Right. Well, it was really, I never intended to have a cosmetic line or to have my own brand, it came from a need. I'm a problem solver, and I had a celebrity client who was considering doing laser resurfacing. And I don't know if you've ever seen a laser resurface. It's like a very deep peel, and it became very popular because what they do with this laser is they go below the scar or the line or the sun damage, and basically remove it by burning it through a
Ooh,
laser. I know it sounds very severe, but it was very popular as a new service because it didn't require any cutting. It was an outpatient thing. And if you've ever had a very bad sunburn, the healing process is, or burned yourself with a curling iron.
oh yeah, we've all done that, right? Yeah.
Right. It heals the same way. It blisters, and then when the blister dries up and that dead skin falls away, what you have is bright red, shiny, slick skin that nothing will stick to.
Ooh.
It takes about 10 days to get past that point to where the doctor says, okay, now you can start using normal skincare and start wearing makeup again. But the problem was that there was no makeup that would stick to that skin. Imagine trying to blend makeup like on a piece of glass. You're either going to leave behind a fingerprint or
Right.
or
Oh,
it's going to lift and not even adhere. Um, Plus, you're having to use something that's very heavy, like we were just talking about,
yeah.
that will wipe out the redness. And so, what you had to do was stipple it on with a makeup sponge, and then blend it and blend it. It was irritating, and you could cover the redness with a very thick oil-based cream. But when you step back and looked at it, it looked like a wax figure. Also,
Oh,
like you said, it felt like a mask, and you didn't look like yourself. And the majority of people that were having the procedure done were doing it because they didn't want to have to wear makeup.
oh.
So I went into her doctor's office and I met with three of his clients that had just been approved to start wearing makeup again. And I wheeled in my suitcase of every different type of foundation that I had, from the creams, the cream to powders, the powder foundations, and nothing would cover the redness and stay on the skin and still look natural and not hinder the healing process. So only two things in my entire suitcase of foundation would stick to the skin, and one was the oil base, which looked very artificial, didn't look
Mhm.
natural at all. And the other was the powder foundation. So this is back when Bare Minerals was just taking off, and
Okay.
everybody was using it. And I found that product to be very unsanitary, especially for newly healing skin.
Oh,
Also very drying because you're putting powder over the top of skin that's already so parched and needing
right.
moisture. And also, as soon as your skin feels dry, it dumps oil. So now you've got
Mm.
mud, and then you've got to go back and touch it. There was just nothing that
Oh,
would cover this skin. And so I left there that day thinking, how can we put a man on the moon, but we don't have a cosmetic,
it seems like such a simple ask.
right? Right. Well, that
Yeah,
is where I think all the great products come from. It's a solution to a problem. And so
totally.
I thought about it for a couple of months. And finally, one day I said to myself, how can I get the thinnest layer of makeup on the skin without touching it? Because that was the problem. The problem is that if I touched it, I either lifted it or I left behind a trace, a fingerprint or a
Right.
spot. And then if I could spray it on, if you think about if you were going to spray the table in front of you,
Hmm.
or you were going to use a brush or a sponge, what's going to give you the thinnest layer? And also with a mist, you can control the coverage. So one day you may just want just a really quick mist of product, and then it gives you the look and feel of a tinted moisturizer. Just you can see your own skin tone come through. If you mist over it a second time, now you're starting to fill in the blanks, and so you get a little bit more coverage. The second mist would be like the coverage you would get from a liquid. And then with the third mist, you could wipe out anything. I mean, full coverage, Kim Kardashian, just totally blank canvas. I can cover with 3 to 4 mists, scars, spider veins, vitiligo, acne scarring, even tattoos. Tattoos
Mm.
completely gone. But as a makeup artist, it had to perform as well. And so it
Right.
had to be water resistant. We had to be able to have it in extremely dry climate where everything just, gets sucked into the pores versus being in humid where everything just slips and slides. And so I spent 5.5 years developing the very
Wow.
aerosol airbrush makeup. So when I started, there was nothing in a can outside of hairspray and deodorant. There were no spray-on sunscreens. There were no spray-on self-tanners. There was absolutely nothing. So it was new territory, and I had to develop a formula that was very specific, that would spray with a
Yeah.
fine mist, but also would perform. So it took 5.5 years to get
Oh
it
my gosh.
right.
I had no idea it took you that long.
Yeah,
I
it
just,
did.
yeah.
Plus, it had to be good for the skin because now my
Yeah.
concept came from me misting it over skin that had been burned. And so it had to be something that was hydrating, moisturizing. It had some soothing effect. So I put in there vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin D for the moisture, aloe vera, and
Mm.
chamomile for the soothing of the redness. That was my first formula, and also the propellant had to be it's on the green list. It's recognized as safe because
Right.
that would, there can't be anything harmful to the skin or the ozone. So there was a lot of love and a lot of thought that was put into that formula, and it it solved a problem, but it wasn't just for somebody who was covering something up. What we found was this was for someone who doesn't like to wear makeup. In fact, I get the most excited when I get to show it to someone who doesn't wear any makeup at all, because even though it looks totally natural, when you see the difference between what your skin looks like with it and without it, it's just night and day. So
Yeah.
um, so that's where the idea came from, and then it just evolved from there. Starting off with fulfilling a need, solving a problem, but then when we realized that this wasn't just for skin that had been burned, even um, someone who's just starting out wearing makeup, it's a cool technology. It's airbrush, so it's new, it's innovative, and then to be able to go all the way up to covering up problems. I even worked with a foundation called the Phoenix Burn Society, where people had been
Oh.
severely burned and had no solutions. And so, young and old, no makeup to the most, severe coverage that you could use. It works for everyone.
Yeah. And I bet that's really satisfying for you. Hey?
It really is. It really is. It's like when you um, show someone a product that is transforming, even if it's on the smallest level. It's like literally like they've got a string on their chest, like you just pulling the string up, like they walk
Oh,
taller, they have their head higher, they're smiling, and like
yeah.
looking good equals feeling great. So
It totally does. And especially I think for those people, like you said, when you can cover those scars, those maybe tattoos that you don't want anymore, or the acne or the things that people weren't able to cover up, but were really making them self-conscious and, really debilitating. Because we say beauty is skin deep. We do, right? But it gets you here at your core because it's not necessarily like how beautiful you are on a scale of 1 to 10. It's how am I feeling in my skin? And if I have X, Y, and Z all over my face, I mean, I've had a facial surgery. And it was, and I know because I was how that sort of, makes you feel. And I mean, when I would go on calls after that, when I was recovering, I would not put my camera on because I mean, I sent them text messages and I said, you just don't want to see this because it was rather extreme. And so for a first, post surgery, it was really like, you don't want to show anyone because if you don't like blood, you're not going to want to see it. It was that bad. But I mean, still, later recovering, and all of that, it was really nice to be able to have something as well too when I was out in the sun to spray gently over and not, I didn't want to slather chemicals all over it. And honestly, a lot of doctors, well, my surgeon, he was a plastic surgeon, is a plastic surgeon, but I said to him, what should I be doing for this later? You know what his answer was? You're going to cringe. He said, put Vaseline on it.
Wow.
I know. I was like, just nodding and smiling. Okay, thanks. Whatever. Yeah, I was like totally not listening to him. So no, I did not put Vaseline anywhere near my face. And so it was like, sure, let's put petroleum products on our skin, and see if that doesn't solve the problem. No. So anyway, I was very appreciative that I had something like this. I had, that I knew about good skincare and that I could help it actually heal and resolve. And I am wearing Envy today, but most of the time I don't unless I'm doing something special, or sometimes, I go through little phases. But it did heal up very nicely because of all the, things that I know how to do. But it does even this out because there is there's still a red mark here on my face. And so when I just only needed one mist today. That's all I put on was one mist. And you can't tell that it's there. So, yeah, just coming from a place of a personal experience, I know that if women or men even, because, that could be something for men too, if they had a scar on their face that they can totally cover that up or what have you, that it just can make you feel like you again when you have a solution to whatever it happens to be, and like you said, when you're focused on solving solutions for people as opposed to, let's just create another product.
Right.
But yeah, I love that yours started out as that need. And then it's like, oh, let's see where we can expand this to. Because I would have never thought of the burn clinics or anything like that. But I'm not in your industry, right? But I mean, it's just interesting how then one thing leads to another where you can help so many different demographics of people.
Absolutely. And everyone has that one thing that bothers
Yeah.
them. I was in Tokyo doing a demo on stage for it was an event. It was a store location, but they really do events big there.
Yeah, I think they do
So
everything is a big over the top there, right?
so I was on the stage with these three beautiful, flawless models. Their skin is perfect. And so I always demo on one side to the other because that's the only way you can really, because if I mist it onto your skin and you're like, oh, yeah, it looks beautiful, but I can't see anything. That's the point. We don't want to see the makeup. And
Right.
so I always do one side first and show how fast. I mean, it's literally seconds. One quick mist, press it with a puff, buff it, you're done. Um, so after I had done this demo, and that, everyone starts to disperse, one of the models pulled me aside and said, excuse me, do you think it'll cover this? And she pulled up her pants legs and she had scars about the width of your thumb, about 6 inches long on both sides of her ankles from where her feet had been turned in, and they'd operated to straighten them out.
Oh, okay.
Entire life she had these scars because they did it when she was a baby. And as you know, they're very skin obsessed. And to have those scars, she said, I've never worn a bathing suit to the beach. I always wear pants. I never wear dresses. And when I do, I always wear tights to cover the scars. And so she sat back down. I took a little bit of the product with my finger. I just ran it down the scar as a concealer, and then I misted over it. And she started trembling and tears rolling down her face. And you can't put a price tag on that. I mean, it literally, for her, it was like life changing to be able to wear shorts without wearing tights. So, I mean, everyone has their own little thing or their big thing that needs correcting. And so that means the world to me.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. It's those kinds of stories that I love to hear about here. And that's why we're diving in. People might think, why are you just talking about skin? But it's not just that. Like you said, for it might be someone else's little thing. They're like, well, who cares if you got a scar on your ankle? And for other people, it's the world. Like for that woman to have grown up and not worn shorts or bathing suits or whatever, like, oh my goodness, how much living has she missed? Just because of what society thinks or what she thinks society thinks.
Exactly.
Most often our own perception, but sometimes we need something to help us get past that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And skin is the largest organ of the body. And
Right.
it is super important. In fact, with our Envy product, I always say it's beauty from the outside in and from the inside out because we do have a very special ingredient that is a plant-based peptide, to over 200 peptides derived from plant-based stem cells. So
Mhm.
I think of it as it's a combination. It's actually the hottest trend for 2026, according to
It
this
is.
this convention that just happened in South Korea. That combination, people are combining products together, makeup and skincare becoming one. And I'm like, is that new? I don't think that's new, but but it
No,
is.
because you started it, but now everyone's just catching up later, you know?
It is, but I think that all your products, especially because we are so busy, they should have multiple functions, but
Yeah.
actual real functions. And so to treat the skin while you're wearing your makeup all day long, so you get the benefit from both. And then, the better your skin looks from the inside out, the less makeup that you need. And so
Mhm.
it is nice to know that what you're putting on your skin actually is working for you and keeping your
Yeah.
skin younger longer.
Exactly. And so, because I mean, when you said our skin is our largest organ, absolutely. And everything that touches our skin needs to get filtered through the liver, right?
Absolutely.
It's all going in, it's all getting filtered, it's all going inside. And so, if and women, we put I don't know how many products before you leave the house, right? Like there's like your shampoo and your makeup and your body lotion and your perfume and your deodorant and whatever else. Like there's a whole myriad of things. And if it's all, you have to start thinking about what exactly am I putting on my skin? How long have I been putting this on my skin? And what is it maybe doing on the inside? Because I think that, well, I know basically that we are not as healthy as we were overall. As when we were kids, I didn't hear of so many people having allergies and autoimmune issues and gut health issues and all the things when I was in school, even when my kids were born still. But it's really ramped up. So there's stuff in our food, there's stuff in the things that we put on ourselves, and but so the things we can control, we probably should a lot,
Absolutely.
like right on it, get on it. Because that's damaging to our microbiome. So if you're putting something on your skin, and what are you seeing? So when the people that you're working with, I mean, you probably don't do the same person's makeup every day, but when you go and do people, do you sort of ask them what they're normally using and then suggest something like if it's not good, suggest something healthier or like how bad is the stuff that's out there? Let's just put it that way.
Well, it's two extremes. It's either bad or it's great, and
Okay.
there's really not a middle ground. So, and the way the labs think about it, like the cosmetic chemists, they think about it because they have so much more information than we do about the actual ingredients they're using. So, I had a discussion with a chemist at one of the largest manufacturers for cosmetics in the world, and they were still using parabens, and I was like,
Hmm.
"You're using parabens? Like, why are you doing?" And he said, "Well," he said, "the smallest minute amount of a paraben is so much. Uh, it's less than the potential of a product getting contaminated with, you know, mold and all the other things. And so there's like a justification
Hmm.
of and I was like, well, I don't have to worry about that because my product is sealed. We're not using parabens, right? Because
Yeah.
the can is actually sealed.
So yeah,
Nothing.
touch on that. Explain the difference of that because that never occurred to me when you first told me about that when you were doing my makeup.
Yeah.
And it was like a little light bulb. Like I said, not before that I've ever used it, but I was using like the same concealer stick that I had for like 4 years, right? It's
Okay.
opened, it's been in the air, it's been who knows where it's been in how many different purses and what have you. And here I am dabbing it on every time there's a special occasion.
Yep. Well, that's the interesting thing that people don't think of their own bacteria as bad bacteria. I very rarely, unless it's a makeup artist, come across somebody who has clean cosmetic brushes, that they're using a
Yeah.
clean brush every day.
Right.
And so, but that's part of the reason why doctors love this product so much and
Mm.
estheticians and, cosmetic surgeons and dermatologists because the product is sealed. So once the product goes in, it's been micro challenged. We know that it's pure. We know that there's no bacteria or mold in there and it's sealed. Once it's sealed, nothing can get in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's no possibility of contaminating this product. And so with an aerosol product, whereas with most products, you should have to throw them out, even sooner than the recommended time of throwing them out. But with this product, the shelf life is infinite because nothing can get in. It can never get contaminated. So, and for the same reason nothing can get in, nothing can get out either. So think about this. Every time you take the lid off of your typical bottle of makeup or moisturizer for that matter, you take the lid off. As soon as you've exposed it to air, you have evaporation of water. All of your volatile or all of your vitamins and botanicals or volatile organic compounds, they just, they
Yeah.
disappear.
They oxidize. Yeah.
There was a study that said that within 1 week, you lose 26% of every vitamin and botanical from evaporation that's in there. And
Wow.
so by the end of the month, just with normal use, there's nothing left that's good for your skin in there. And if you think about just typical use of a foundation, if the water is evaporating, the vitamins and botanicals are evaporating back to pretty much everything. The color is oxidizing. By the end of the month, there's nothing left that's good for your skin. And it's dried out, so it's thicker. It
Mm.
color has changed. It's gotten darker. So, having the product sealed it's not just about the longevity of the product. It's about the effectiveness of it long term and the purity of it too. So it's not
Yeah.
just you know um a trend to have a spray
Mm.
product. It actually
Right.
really good for you.
Yeah, no, and that's a good way to think about it. I just never had thought about that until you brought that up before. I was like, oh my gosh, totally. That makes so much sense, right? We leave it open, it's gonna get a whole bunch of stuff in there. So envy is not and so that's what it's called, envy, right? Envy, and you can get all the different shades for your face, which I love. And I will be taking it to Mexico with me when I go because I like it as the sunscreen.
Do you have, right. Okay. So it
Yeah.
doesn't have a chemical sunscreen in it, but it is a natural blocker because it has the micronized titanium dioxide, which is total blocker. Now we don't make an SPF claim, and I always suggest that you use sunscreen anyway, but it does completely block and it works as a barrier, uh,
Hmm.
for the rays. So definitely, but have you tried the body product? Have you tried the,
No.
oh,
I
let
have
me see.
not tried the body product.
Okay,
Okay.
because you're a lover of the product, right? You have the foundation.
Yes.
The body product is a blend of the foundation, so it's 50% foundation and
Mhm.
50% bronzer. So,
Oh, you put them together. Because I have the bronzer because of
yeah.
course it's winter here in Canada and I am going to a Christmas party on Saturday night and I'm wearing a short dress and of course I haven't been out in the sun. So I will be using the bronzer on my legs.
Yes, because we used to spray our legs with the foundation, if we were wearing a
Yep.
skirt. And then we would put the bronzer over the top. And I was like, gosh, if I'm doing a body product, I just want it all in one step. And so I put them together. And
Cool.
it actually is great because it makes the foundation more sheer and the bronzer. So you use less product.
Okay.
And let me show you. So with your
Yeah.
spray it back here. You can also spray it and apply it with your fingers or with a brush or a sponge. But with the body product, I just go straight. I'm going to shake it. Always shake it first. And then I always go straight right next to the skin.
Okay.
Eat.
Oh yeah, I see it. Look at that. Look at that.
There's not a lot of overspray. And then we have
Mm.
this brush that I'm going to send you one.
Ooh, thank you.
So it is faux blue point for a blue point squirrel fur. It's faux, so it's synthetic, but it
Right.
feels like the softest brush. And then you just blend, and that was super fast and super easy, water resistant. You can wear this in the ocean, in the pool, in the shower, all day. It will not come off until you use a cleanser, but
Nice.
look at the difference.
Yeah, look at that. You can totally see it. What a
So,
nice. Yeah.
I'm sitting in this light,
No,
so
I can
it's
still see it though. Look at that.
clean, but I mean, look
Mhm.
difference. And it will not come off until you take it off. Even if you get into your hotel sheets, and it'll still be on in the next morning if you didn't use soap. So
Yeah. And that's a nice touch, especially for, if you're going to a party or if you're going for the bride for the wedding, the whatever, you do not want anything to come off on anybody's white anything.
right, exactly.
Totally.
Especially brides. It's great for brides.
Especially those. Yeah, I can imagine that's going to be a huge seller for you. And then what was the other one you have? You were just at a big event and you won this huge award. So tell us about that, what it was for.
Well,
Congratulations first, by the way.
thank you. That was it was like a live Shark Tank kind of situation.
Ooh.
But it was a long process to get there. So there were 25,000 products that applied to.
Wow.
So it took like 6 months for them to narrow it down and then narrow it down and narrow it down. And then we made the top 70. And then
Ooh.
we had to go to present in person. So this was all done via, this type of phone conferences and
Right.
sending polls and all of that. But then they narrowed it down. So we had to go to Vegas, and it was this huge convention situation where it was set up by Alibaba. I don't know if you're
Okay.
familiar with
Yeah,
Alibaba.
they're a big company like Amazon, but not in the United States. Yeah.
Brought anything off of Temu, it probably came from Ali and Amazon as well. It probably came from.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, and so they were hosting this along with, oh goodness, what is that platform that GoFundMe?
Oh, okay.
So they
Really?
were together, and the whole conference was really about people creating products and starting their own businesses. It was a real focus
Oh,
on that. And so we went on. So they had 70 brands that they split into two. So there was a stage one and stage two. So you had to get top 10 out of 35. And then they brought us together on the big stage for top 20. And I think there was about 5,000 people in the audience that we were presenting in front of, and Lori from Shark Tank and a few of the other judges. But yeah, I mean, just to be narrowed down from that many applicants.
yeah.
This product is really special to me, though, and it has a cute story behind it. Speaking of knowing you wanted to be a makeup artist from when you were little,
Yes.
I got the idea for this product from my mom, actually.
So this is not Envy. This is your newest one, is what you were presenting it's called Creators. Was it called Creators? Co-creators?
Co-create.
Co-create. There we go. Co-create. Okay.
And so,
Personally, I think you should have applied for both.
oh,
You should have sent both of them in there and you could have been up there twice. I just think,
okay, yeah, well, then, yeah, maybe we should have. But we did the same thing similar in Poland, and took the bronze award for both Envy. So it was Envy foundation, primer, bronzer, shimmer were all in one category, and then the body product was in another category, and we got
Cool.
bronze for both of those two.
Nice.
So
Okay.
yeah, it was
Okay, so So now you did this new product for Co-Create.
Yes. And so I got the idea. I'm taking off my lip gloss because I'm going to
Okay.
demo. Um, so I got the idea from my mom grew up in a very conservative upbringing. I mean, think Little House on the Prairie. Her dad was the pastor of the church. Like it was very, very conservative. And so she wasn't allowed to wear makeup. So she would go to school and all of her girlfriends would have these beautiful red lips. And so to get the look, find one. Okay, I have 4 shades here. To get the look, she would take tissue paper, you know, the kind that goes into the gift bag,
Yeah.
the red tissue paper, and she would lick her lips and transfer that ink to her lips, and she would get red lips. And over a period of time, I don't think her dad probably even noticed that her lips were so much redder. But yeah, it would say obviously that's not a healthy choice, and
Not really.
I don't recommend that.
No.
Um, but I thought, well, if you could do that with, just your regular inkjet ink, you could
Mhm.
probably do that with like edible ink, right? Something that was, that you could actually ingest. And I mean, we all did temporary tattoos when we were kids, right? It's kind of the
Yep.
same thought process. So what we did was we took a specially formulated red ink. We have a red. Actually, we can do any shade in the Pantone book, by the way. But and then you fold it in half, color side out. You can see there's color only on one side.
Right.
And then you lick your lips and you press it and you transfer it and you get like a perfect lip stain. Let's make sure I don't have anything. You want to start with very clean lips, nothing on them. You want to lick your lips, make sure they're nice and wet. And then I usually kind of rub them together just to make sure it's evenly distributed. And you just press and transfer the lip stain.
And there you go.
Like instant. And then you can build up the color just like with Envy. You can start off and you can see like I it's perfect.
It is. Yeah.
And
Because
you
it's
can
getting just the part that you licked, right?
mhm.
Look at that. There you go.
I mean, it's very difficult for you to lick outside of your lip line. I
Right.
mean, and it's, we all lick our lips, so you know right where your lips are. So you can see that there's still quite a bit of color on the paper.
Hmm.
And it just builds up the color. So
Cool.
you can, obviously, I'm all about non-contamination, so I usually throw this away, but there is quite a bit. You probably could keep this in a clean pouch and, use it again.
I
Um,
confess I do reuse mine
yes.
because I don't like it too dark, but I like the lighter one, the spill the tea, and then I just put a clear gloss over that. So,
Right. Yeah, this is my go-to. And so I actually should have named this shade Hilda because this is the shade I made for her.
oh,
It's a lip tone, but better. And they are alcohol free, which is, everybody loves the long wearing lip products, whether it's a stain or it's a long stay lip gloss or but they are so loaded with alcohol and they dry your lips out and
mhm.
you get kind of you get crusty, you get
It's
dry.
kind of like a cracked thing. I tried that once before. I'm like, ew, I don't like these. I just keep reapplying if I need it. And that was the end of that.
Yeah, you can't you can't wear it every day. But with this, because there's no alcohol, it literally is ink on paper, dried, and so there's no moisture, there's no melting in your handbag. I keep one in my car, in my handbag, at my makeup table, and so I always have them in a place and I don't have to worry about them melting or and for your holiday little black bag, how easy is this to carry around?
Exactly.
I don't know about you, but your cell phone and your lipstick it won't
They
fit.
never fit in that bag.
It should.
I was like, oh my goodness, what do I do? That's like the criteria of the little bag. It's like trying to get my phone in there and then trying to stack it in the corner. It's like maybe I should just buy a smaller lipstick. Yeah. No, that's brilliant because you can literally pop it in the little pocket in there and leave it in there. So, yep, that's what I will be doing on Saturday. Again, I'm thinking I'm going to try it beforehand, but I might try the red because I'm not really a red person, but I may try the red because I have a silver dress. So we'll kind of see how that goes.
Okay, so this red, and it looks different on everyone because it does
Okay.
on the tone of your own lips. So if you have very pale lips, it's going to be a little bit brighter. If you have darker lips, like even African American or even with the very darkest skin, you still get a tint of color, but it just looks different based on what you're putting it on
Well, that
top
makes
of.
sense. I mean, if you're starting with a different colored canvas, you're going to get a different color result,
Exactly.
basically, right?
So
Yeah.
this red, you can even mix colors. You can go over them. So if you put the
Ah.
red on and it's a bit bright, you can always go over it with your spill the tea and knock it back a little bit.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
I just did that with except I did it I did it that way. I had a client who was wearing a chocolate jumpsuit and she wanted to wear the red, very little makeup everywhere else, but just like red lips. She put it on and I was like, it was just a lot, with a ju jumpsuit and the red lips. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
but so we put the spill the tea over it. It made it more of a chocolate. So it looked more in line with what she was wearing. So again,
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Very nice.
for me, it's like it goes like kind of warm. I've seen it go
Hmm.
cooler on people. But on me, I like that like warm tomatoey,
Yeah.
springy red.
Very nice.
And it's
I
just
think you
like,
can wear any color. I think I've seen you wear all the colors of everything, and it's probably just because you know what you're doing and it looks so good.
well, I after, 30 plus years being a makeup artist, I lean in on colors that I know are going to work on everyone. And that's because I'm less is more across the board. I want less product, less time, less, but also the products. I have my go-tos. Every makeup artist does, and so those are the ones that I develop is something that'll work on you and me.
Yeah. And yeah, that's really cool. Because we all want to be more efficient, less time with better results. Like who doesn't want that, right? So what's something that you've noticed throughout your in the industry throughout your career, like with women that has changed or shifted in the last couple years?
Um, well, with regards to products, it's accessibility. I mean, we have access to so many great things now. But with women, I think I don't know. I don't really notice that many changes except that we're more educated in our knowledge and we want things that are better for us, that are going to benefit us in the long term, but still get that sort of instant gratification. But I think just education, having access to so much information now and awareness of what we put in our bodies, what we put on our bodies. Like you were
Yeah.
saying, you were talking about that. Even the soap we wash our hands with. I mean, we know so much. We have so much access to information. I love that we're in this time where we can know what we're doing and and make the right choices for ourselves.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that more women are taking a look at things.
Mhm.
Like they're standing back and taking a look at, oh, is this good for me at this point in my life, or is it going to serve me later? And I think maybe midlife is like the tipping point. I don't know if you find that, but I think it's maybe the little bit of a turning point, possibly because now, your kids are kind of older, they're maybe moved out. It's not such chaos every day. Do you remember when your kids were little and it was like, oh my goodness, like, okay, we just got to get through this so we can get dinner on the table or something like that. It just seemed to be so much chaos. And I think maybe, like you say, with so much information out there that women are getting little snippets and then thinking, okay, what else is there?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. That makes sense. Okay, now I get
Yep.
it. think we're just like awareness and paying attention to the things maybe we didn't notice when we were, running with our kids. And then also, you start to see your friends and family aging around you and you're like, you know, what can I do to slow down that process
Yep.
and stay healthy?
No,
And
totally. I get a lot of women that come to me and I get them to fill out a little questionnaire. And one of the things that they answer on is, family health history. What the and there's almost everybody answers that, yeah, they want to avoid the history that's already happening in their family, and that can come from a lot of places, because definitely what we put in our body counts, but what we put on our body counts, what we hear and what we watch, all the stuff that influences our mental wellness, all connected, all of these things play a role. And I think that women are finally sort of, the light is going on and they're like, oh, it's so much more than just, eat broccoli and don't eat sugar, it's kind of,
exactly, exactly. It's just we are really lucky to live in this time. I mean, my mom was a cook. Like she loved to cook. I don't think that there were very many meals that we ate, aside from the occasional special occasion of eating out to dinner, but she cooked for every meal. But she took shortcuts too. So she grew up on a farm where they milked the cows, they gathered the eggs, and there was no you know diseases and things of that nature that we see so much of now. And then so she started taking shortcuts and using premixes and just things like but you don't think about it until you start realizing, oh, wait a minute, what was different then that isn't, that's changed now. So,
yeah,
and being able to control those things and what we put into our bodies. I mean, like you said, when you cook, you control the sodium, you control the sugar, you control all of those things, and you can make those choices. So,
yeah. And so yeah, exactly. Looking to what's in the stuff that you're putting in your bodies and on your stuff and the things you're putting on your bodies too, and just trying to do the best you can, right? All the time. Because then we can live longer and we can age younger. That's the whole point. Aging younger doesn't, when you do that, focusing on the health components, you will naturally look younger
absolutely.
as opposed to just trying to cover things up, right?
That is the goal. Yes.
Totally. That is the goal. I love it. I love connecting with women like you who are on that same page. And that's the whole reason why I started this podcast, actually. So where is the best place for anyone to find you and check out all your amazing products? I've got them on my site. Where's your site? What's yours?
BeTheEnvy.com. BeThenvy. So just it's the slogan. Be the envy.
Be the Envy.
And BeTheEnvy.com. You can find us there.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to join me here today. I love chatting with you always, and I can't wait to get that little brush.
Yes, yes. And I'll send you some of the body as well. You'll love it.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, thanks again for taking the time. I really appreciate it. It's been so much fun.
Thank you.